Hey guys, I keep getting questions about whether I've seen the Cove and what I think about it. I sort of covered this in the eating whale video and interviews, but I keep getting questions, so I'll address it. No, I haven't seen the Cove. There hasn't been any sign of it in Japan that I've noticed, but I have seen a lot of it on YouTube, the preview, promotion video for it and some other stuff. So I've got the idea. I mean, I actually thought the promotional video for it was pretty interesting. It focused more on the James Bond 007 angle of these guys coming to Japan and sneaking around and getting the video and all that sort of stuff, rather than the actual main important topic, which was the dolphins getting killed and eaten. I better start by saying, because I know what'll happen, I'll end up getting abused like I did on the whaling one, but I think there's so little dolphin eaten in Japan that you know, they'd be better off not eating it. So I don't eat dolphin. I don't know anyone who eats dolphin. As you would have seen in the whaling video, I interviewed a lot of Japanese people, and most of them, well, none of them had eaten dolphin, and most of them didn't even know that some people in Japan were eating dolphin. And as they actually said in the Cove movie, that most Japanese people didn't know that dolphin was being eaten in Japan. So, you know, I don't know anyone who eats it. Most of the people I don't know didn't even know that it does get eaten. I don't eat it, and I'm not saying that people should eat it. But as far as the Cove movie was concerned, I think it was a waste of time. And the reason I think that is because it was obviously made to make money, and it was obviously made to be popular in Western countries. So for the same reason that I think the Sea Shepherd is a waste of time, I also think that the Cove, well, it's not a waste of time because it's obviously going to make the people who made it a lot of money. But as far as stopping people eating dolphins, I think it's a waste of time. And the reason is because that style of movie will appeal to Westerners, but it won't change anything in Japan. And it's the same as the Sea Shepherd thing. It's the same reason that in the unlikely event, I mean, if those guys really wanted to stop people in Japan eating dolphin, they would have been much better off making a movie in Japanese and showing the video of what happens to the dolphins and focusing on that, rather than focusing on themselves sneaking around Japan and doing stuff. Because, you know, you can imagine if a bunch of foreigners came to your country, whichever country that happens to be, and were sneaking around, breaking the law, doing all sorts of sneaky stuff, and then saying to you, look what your country's doing, it's doing this bad thing, you should stop. You know, the reaction that gets in Japan is that in the unlikely event people actually see it, because it's not even in Japanese, but in the unlikely event that people actually see it, they're just going to think how rude those people were to come to this country and do that. You know, sneaking around, breaking the law. And because Japanese people, when it comes to the laws, the Japanese laws, you know, they're very law-abiding people. So they wouldn't, you know, their only reaction to it's going to be, you know, what are these foreigners doing sneaking around Japan breaking the law? So really, I mean, I'm sure those guys must have known this, that if they really wanted to change, because changing Western opinion or English-speaking people's opinion of eating dolphin is not going to change anything. And we've seen that with the whaling. It doesn't matter what the rest of the world thinks. And I mean, other countries are the same. It doesn't matter what the rest of the world thinks. It really matters what the Japanese people think. And if they'd made a movie in English, in Japanese, and shown what was going on with the dolphins and educated the Japanese people about what was happening with the dolphins and approached it from a respectful, compassionate point of view, I'm sure a lot of Japanese people would have got behind it and would have been campaigning to stop people eating dolphin, because there's only a small number of Japanese people that eat dolphin. So, you know, if that movie had been aimed at the rest of the Japanese people and started some serious opposition towards it, I'm sure it could have worked. But that approach that they took isn't going to work. All it's going to do is get more Western people, more English-speaking people not liking Japan and not liking Japanese people, and it won't change the dolphin situation. It's the same as with the whaling and with the sea shepherd. You know, it doesn't change anything. And I mean, once again, look at your own countries. You know, I mean, you know, let's pick a random example. You know, let's say America, for example, and Iraq. I mean, if we took a poll around the world and asked everybody around the world what they thought of the Americans being in Iraq, the majority of people would say that they shouldn't be there. But that won't change America doing it, you know. And it's the same as with my own country. There's things that happen in my own country that, you know, that if you took a poll around the world about whether Australians should shoot kangaroos, I'm sure that we'd end up with some vote that came back saying that Australians shouldn't shoot kangaroos, which is a topic for a video for somebody who makes videos about Australia, so I'm not going to be addressing that one. But you get my point. You know, it's a waste of time. You know, if they want to change Japanese people's attitudes towards whaling or eating dolphins or anything else, they need to address the Japanese people. And the way to address Japanese people is politely and respectfully, and gently get their attention and show them. I mean, these guys are intelligent, compassionate people. If you show them that video that those guys did get of the dolphins being slaughtered and herded into a bay and being slaughtered, I'm sure a lot of people, Japanese people, would get behind it. But you know, this attitude, Sea Shepherd, the Cove attitude of, you know, sneaking around, breaking the law, you know, they're in another country here. They've come here as guests, and sneaking around doing that stuff just makes them look like criminals. You know, and Japanese people won't care what criminals think. You know, they would care what you know, if it was handled in a better way, they would have cared. But the way it's been handled, I just don't think it's going to matter. You know, and I think if those guys really did want to change the attitudes of Japanese people, they would have made that movie for Japan, and they didn't. They made it for English-speaking people. So, you know, the answer to the question, have I seen the Cove? No. I've seen the preview, and I've seen other extracts of it that are on YouTube, and I've got the idea. You know, a bunch of foreign people coming to Japan, sneaking around, trespassing, breaking the law, you know, going on about how they're being followed by the Yakuza and stuff, you know, really. It was probably the Japanese government following them, if anybody, but yeah, I've seen all that. Do I think it's going to make any difference? No, I don't. No, I don't. I think it'll make the people that made the movie a lot of money. Other than that, no, total waste of time. So, that's my 2 cents.